Hello, everybody. My name is Madman. I'm a competitive Splatoon coach and analyst, and today I'm going to be talking about my main weapon, Wellstring, and why I actually use it and represent it. And most of this actually sparks from a post that I saw on Bluesky like a day or two ago. Uh, Someone who was like asking for the community's thoughts on Wellstring, and like obviously I had my take on it. I didn't like spent too much information out. I didn't like want to make a 20 post long thread or whatever when I can just like make a video and stuff that also allows me to actually show stuff. But in general, I kind of just said that it's underrepresented and that it has strengths and reasons to be used, but no one actually is pushing it right now. If you want me to actually list the people I know who play Wellstring at a mid-level plus level, well, Arito flexes Wellstring. Uh, he's getting a bit more active again, but like he was kind of out of it for a bit. Then there's Honokane. He's good, but he hasn't done anything in like a year or something, so that's kind of sad. Um, I think Tesseract mainly plays Wellstring as like low-rank band, but I haven't really heard too much of them. And funny enough, in the post, someone pinged Tesseract, and then we got a counter of how many people in that post were blocked by Tesseract, and it was DOP, me, and two other people. So I don't really think that they're chill 100%. I don't like hate them. It's just like they blocked a bunch of people for seemingly no reason. So I'm not gonna go over them too much. Like, but yeah, I haven't seen too much out of them recently, and also I think Sneaky is like maybe there. I don't know if it's official or anything. I think I got Faust to the mid-level 8 server, which was exclusively vouching that got them in. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they actually have the results. Uh, they're probably fine though. And then there's me. I'm the one trying to do shit. And yeah, I don't want to say that there should be more Wellstring players, but I think that there's a lack of them for how strong this weapon is. And like it comes down to, like to just people sometimes playing it for Rainmaker. And that's kind of the only use it actually sees right now. At least at a decent level. At a low level, I know the sees like use being flexed a bunch. But yeah, I'm actually going to talk about the weapon now. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about its mechanics. I feel like that's kind of simple. So let's just get to what makes this weapon strong. I'm going to actually size this down a bit so I can do pros and cons. Drawing on a mouse is not fun. Let me just move my keyboard actually so I can do this easier. Okay, so pros. First of all, this thing has the best AoE in the game. Like, when it comes down to it, like, its single bullets aren't the biggest explosion. Like, explodes bigger, but like when you spread out the bullets, they're able to do like 60 to 90 damage, depending on how they hit, at a full charge across a large plane. Sometimes they'll do dirty with that. Probably they'll do dirty if your opponent can actually dodge, but either way, this is also the only main weapon AoE that can one shot. Like Stringer can do 90 damage with AoE, and there's a bunch of like other AoE like niches. Like some people will say, like a lot of people will actually say Slosher's AoE and Blasters are AoE. I mean, like Blasters are AoE 100%. Like there's nothing to disagree about that. But buckets don't necessarily have an AoE hitbox. And either way, even if they did, the only other thing that would be AoE that one shot would be Blob. And I'm just going to briefly mention this thing's just better Blob in every single category. It quite literally took what Blob does, slightly reworked how it works mechanically, and its function is the exact same, except it does literally everything better. If that doesn't kind of say that this weapon is good, then yeah. But yeah, this thing also has a self-defense one shot. How do I? I'm gonna do Oko for one hit KO. Gotta brief all this down into like 5 letters max. But yeah, it has a one shot. And you might think I'm talking about, oh yeah, it's half charge. It can one shot people rushing it down. Yeah. But also it can one shot at any charge. It can one shot with a tap shot, it can one shot at full range. It's just simply how good are you with it. And I feel like this thing has a lot of a like skill ceiling because of that. Like if you properly master this weapon, you'll be able to one shot arch crabs. You'll like be able to one shot people over walls, just like Stringer can, except that you also have better self defense and better mobility and like some other things that we're gonna go over. So yeah, that's like very strong. This thing also has little to no end lag in some of its aspects for like inking and mobility. Like it can quickly go into the ink after it fires, and it also has 0 white frames. This allows for a technique in which you can kind of just cycle your shots in between going in ink, and you're gonna keep up infinite pressure without running out of ink. I personally run, I believe, 3 subs right now of ink recovery because of this. I don't necessarily need pretty much any main saver if I just have some ink recovery and start using that tech. It's very efficient in its ink, and it also helps it fight up close with its mobility not being hindered too much. It's able to be like actually very slippery. This thing can fight up close. I'm just gonna say it can brawl, and I'll just also mention good ink efficiency. So like yeah. So it's ink efficient, it can brawl because of those two aspects. Like it makes this thing really hard to actually do anything about because if you just sit there in neutral, it's going to use its infinite AoE just to take space. And if you try and run it down, it can typically fight back very well. Like its tap shots are a 2 shot typically. When I think of tap shots, technically there it shoots 5 bullets and it's a 5 shot, but in general, most of the time, it takes 2 clicks for you to kill your opponent. Sometimes it will take 3. Sometimes it will take 4 even. Maybe even 5. Like, because it does 24 damage, not 25. So it's just barely not there. But for like our purposes right now, typically the bullets are clumped up close enough together to where you can get a vertical shot off that can deal 3 bullets decently consistently, then you can use your little end lag to swim at an angle around them, and then you can shoot again, and that will typically connect 2 bullets or 3. If one hit 2 bullets is fine because the other one will likely hit 3. They're both pretty consistent. You can also one shot with a tap shot for some reason. It's very inconsistent. I'm not going to say that's a pro because that never happens. Pretty much. But yeah. This thing also is good at painting. And it's just really good at walling things out because it has infinite ink, biggest AoE in the game. It can one-shot you, punishing you. You can't run it down, and it also paints a shit ton. This is very punishing, and it's very good at creating space. This weapon sounds absolutely busted right now, and I think it is. But we do have to go over the cons. The cons, well, it doesn't have cooler. I'd say that is pretty much the biggest con that this thing has. And I know some people are like, oh yeah, Wellstring should get a cooler for third kit. It's the only thing that could beat pencil. Yeah, it will beat pencil, and you're not gonna like it. Because this thing is going to be able to do almost everything. And I did a rant about this, like on Bluesky. Just like pretty much saying why Wellstring is so strong and it doesn't need anything better for our kit. And cooler would ruin it. Like, not ruin Wellstring, but the game. You don't want to have to fight this. You don't want to fight the infinite AoE. So, yeah, giving a cooler would fix most of its weaknesses right now. Which, I need to explain why it's a weakness, obviously. We know why cooler is good. It's like, it allows you to take a bunch more fights you normally couldn't, because it just reduces the risk of failing. But overall, like, pretty much, when you have a Wellstring, your options are either Zap, Edit, weird other pick for cooler, which is more niche, or coolerless. Wellstring is not a horrible coolerless weapon. It's not a good one, because, quite frankly, it doesn't have the range to wall stuff out quite as much. That's going to be the next thing. Like, range. This thing gets beat by chargers because of its range. It can play under ledges, but that doesn't solve everything because it getting dived is like not the 100% best thing for it. Like it can fight it. It could like do that, but certain weapons are able to just like have an advantage because they like to dive. Like this thing doesn't mind getting dived and it sometimes doesn't mind diving. But when you compare something that doesn't mind something like versus something that actively wants to do it, it becomes an issue. And like this thing needs hammer to kind of handle that. That's why I believe in the vanilla kit a lot more than the custom kit. Like the custom kit's more of a counter pick. But like it's just the charger matchup is really bad and it doesn't like have anything to warrant to allow it to play coolerless. Especially like with the hammer kit. Hammer likes cooler quite a bit and you might have to sacrifice your hammer's power or sacrifice your hammer in general because of that, like not having cooler. And if we're going like with the other cooler options, then what that does is it gives us pretty much a support with a cooler and a anchor with a hammer. And I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of those hammers, but they're still hammers. And when we're comparing that to like a pen where our anchor has the cooler and our support can have like crab, strike, booyah, or whatever, then it's like not as efficient special wise because it's easier to punish typically our other options that are going to be in our support slot. So the cooler output can be more difficult, but also like we do have a hammer as well. So what this thing has a lot of main power is like its hammer honestly is what keeps it in check, and I don't mind the hammer at all. I think it's like fun, and I think it has value for it for like when it's like wanting to do stuff up close, when it wants to brawl. I do like it. I think hammer is fun, and I think it works to an extent. I think that the limitations are good, but like pretty much, these are our two main weaknesses. If if you want me to get picky, I can try and think of like some minuscule other things like it doesn't have the best matchup into AoE weapons because like it often wants to hang around like cover a lot because of its weakness to chargers, and it also being able to arc shots allows it to play around cover better. But if it can get hit with AoE back, it can be difficult to deal with sometimes. It's not that horrible though. Oh, wait a second, I just realized looking at the sides of the thing, there's a bra here. Another pro, object damage. This is like something a lot of people would probably put as the first thing for this thing. I don't even think about the object damage that much. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, I see a bubble, I shoot the bubble. Oh yeah, I see a Rainmaker shield, I pop it. But like, it's not like necessarily the core identity for the reason why I play this weapon. I will say that's a lot of the identity for why people use it in Rainmaker though, which I'm gonna go over Rainmaker with this thing obviously. But yeah, when we're looking at it, pretty much its pros heavily outweigh its cons, and cooler is like the only thing really stopping this thing in my mind from being able to probably do anything. Oh yeah, also if you want to get really funny, we can put this thing with pen and then the core and range issue is solved. I have played Wellstring pen before, it's kind of neat. I don't hate it at all. I'm not gonna say Wellstring pen's the best thing, because it can be kind of slow. Like, Wellstring can do it, but it's like not the optimal thing for Wellstring typically. You just like I find a lot of value in Wellstring having a teammate that can just deal with the enemy pen and then just like deal with the core issue instead of stacking on the issues of Wellstring pen. But like I don't think Average is bad necessarily. Of course, I'm a combat anarchist, though. I play with a rapid deco like all the time. But yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this now. Say goodbye. If I can highlight it all without deleting the wall string. There. Bye bye. So yeah, let's go over to Rainmaker. Rainmaker over here. So Rainmaker. It's obviously Wellstring's best mode. Why? Well, for two reasons. Wellstring pops the Rainmaker barrier, and if the enemy team tries pushing the Rainmaker, it's very hard to because of the AoE. And like that's very good. But why would that make this one of the best main weapons and like kind of dominant for a while? Like pretty much it shares the spotlight with um where is it? Fact Rapid. Like Fact Rapid it, and Wellstring shared a spot for Rainmaker. At least before the Fact buff. Now Rapid's a bit ahead. Uh like I just want to say that this thing, Fact Rapid, I'm gonna briefly talk about it. As I said, I play with a short rapid. They can play long rapid, and they can play Fact Rapid. They like Fact Rapid a lot, and I have seen it a lot, and I have played with it a lot. I have played against it. I have studied this thing, and pretty much the only like real reason this thing is good in Rainmaker is because it can get Vac and it has mist. So pretty much it does like the Vac sheets for the points and then doesn't let the enemies get the points. And its main weapon's really good. So this thing has a good main weapon with a lot of mode synergy. Before the Vac buff, like Wellstring keeping up with that, it's really impressive when you think about it. Because like, yeah, pop's important and all, but like how are you gonna push the Rainmaker like really effectively? Because like if your Wellstring grabs it and then they die with the Rainmaker, then the Rainmaker barrier is gonna form before they are like nearly respawned, and they're not gonna be there to pop it. Even with Core, like sometimes it can like have its teammates stall out enough time when it has a cooler for it to actually get back there and pop it, but like in general, like your Wellstring grabbing loses the whole entire benefit of the Rainmaker pop. And if your Wellstring isn't the one to grab, well, then you have a Rainmaker and a Wellstring trying to move forward. Now, these two are very good at stalling out and are very hard to push, but we're trying to actually move it. And that's not going to work very effectively a lot of the time. So, the fact that this thing still was one of the top and is still one of the top weapons in this mode without even having that synergistic of a kit for the mode. Like it can throw hammers at Rainmaker, sure, but I can't like rush it into it because the hammer, because the Rainmaker can just shoot the floor and then it explodes. And it's just like there has to be something more going on with Wellstring than people are giving it credit for if it's performing this well in Rainmaker when it doesn't even have as many benefits in Rainmaker as you'd think. And I feel like that's a point that I haven't thought about for a while, but it just kind of solidifies my thinking of this weapon. And like, yeah, I think Fat Crab is better than Rainmaker because it has the kit. I think Fat is honestly extremely strong right now. Like not just even in Rainmaker, but like in the zones and like the other two modes as well. It actually can hold up. It's a functional special now. I don't. It feels like there aren't really any bad specials right now. Like the gap has actually been decreased quite a lot. Like Hammer's throw buff was kind of really good for it for a lot of weapons. I don't think it was quite as good for Wellstring, but like it was good for it. Obviously, I'll take it, but it was more important for the weapons that just throw hammer a lot more. I think this thing uses it to rush no, a lot more than the short range weapons because it quite frankly just helps it do something you can't normally quite do as well. Like the hammer buff, the vac buff, the sliders, gradual buffs, and the cheese. Like, really, what bad specials are there? Well, like, that's kind of besides the point. I just kind of wanted to say, I think the specials are in a good spot right now. And, like, this thing doesn't have the worst special in the world. Like, I didn't put it as a con of, oh yeah, it has hammer. I put it as a con of, it doesn't have cooler. So if we're looking at a viability reason, that's why. But I don't think that the hammer is what is throwing for it. I think the hammer's 100% fine. I saw a chart on Make a Post earlier today, and like, quite frankly, this feels like it was a joke. It probably was a joke. Like, what he's like is saying is about how Vac got a good enough buff to where it's meta in Rainmaker. It already has been, but it's 100% now. Like, and Wes actually understands it a bit. And he said we should give Vac Wellstring a kit just for a Rainmaker. And like, yeah, I like it's a joke. So I only responded with 2 words. But it's just it would work, but I don't want it to work. And it's just like kind of like the identity of this thing isn't where I think people understand it properly. If I want to go back to like where that other post was that I was talking about, like, while I said Wellstring was underrepresented, the other people who spoke on behalf of Wellstring with no experience with it or little to experience with it were just going, "Oh yeah, this thing's underrated. More people should give it a shot." There's like no representatives of it. If everyone says it's underrated, then it's not underrated, and like it's just underrepresented because like we don't have the people pushing it. It's not underrated. I feel like people know this thing is strong. They just don't think of it quite as strong as I do, probably. Like, I understand this thing is not meta. I think it is close, though. I think this thing has, like, the viability of an RPG. Possibly, higher, possibly lower. I am not exactly sure. I have a rapid friend and all, but, like, they played a short one. I mean, like, they have experience with the long one, but either way, this thing is most comparable to RPD, and I feel like more people need to understand it like that. Like, even when I pulled up Rainmaker, I started comparing it to Vac Rapid because of their methods of working around the objective. Like, this thing has very strong traits, and people probably understand these traits, but don't put them together to actually piece together how strong this thing is. And I want to close this off by saying that I want people to be more considerate of weapons, especially like ones that they didn't give a fair chance. Because like I saw a JP analysis video of Tri-Stringer today that was pretty much like, oh yeah, people didn't like Tri-Stringer at first and because it was weak and it got buffs and people for a while didn't recognize it was good until this one guy started playing it, and then everyone was like, "Huh, this thing's actually pretty decent." And then it started showing up more in X rank and started showing up in Area Cup. I hope I'm that guy with Wellstring, but I'm obviously not in the Japanese scene. I would be if I could be, but I don't have the availability. I don't know Japanese. I'm not Japanese, so no. But like for every like stringer moment out there, there could be like I don't know. Maybe the planet's big swig is good. I mean, like if I were to consider it, I'd look at its pros and cons. Honestly, planet's big swig ain't that bad. It's just a splashdown, and that's like kind of its con. This video isn't about big swig. It's about understanding underrepresented weapons like Wellstring, specifically Wellstring, but we can give Planet's Big Swig a little bit of showtime. Just analyze something before you actually properly give it credit for being like at a certain viability. Like when I make tier lists, it's very little about actually seeing what is like how good like what is the meta and stuff like, but more so like what is every weapon like actually good and bad at, and like how effective does that make the weapon in total. I feel like I probably have more to say, but I don't know anymore, so I'm going to call it there. I hope that you feel better about Wellstring or whatever you play. And oh yeah, one last thing. I don't want Wellstring to get a lot more representatives. Don't think it should. But seeing one or two more people use it would be nice. I think that this weapon is annoying. Like, more Wellstring players isn't necessarily what I want to see. But there needs to be, like, someone pushing it. Like, besides just, like, one person. I feel like I currently am that one person. Can we make it two? But yeah, in all seriousness, I hope that my rant has kind of made you able to consider a bit more, not just about Wellstream, but about the game in general. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.